It took a while for us to notice what was going on with Steve. We would joke at times about his forgetting keys or misplacing things or forgetting the bank password. But it was really about 6 years ago when one time really struck me. He had repainted our living room and moved furniture, and shortly after that he was taking a nap, and he woke up and he said, "Oh, who changed the furniture around?" and had no recollection of that. When we found out that Alzheimer's was his diagnosis, we were devastated because at 58 years old, it just wasn't what we had planned for our future. Steve actually said at one point he wished he had a brain tumor instead of Alzheimer's because there being no route to treatment for Alzheimer's, it seemed pretty dead-ended. But we decided, actually Steve decided, that we had two choices. We could lay down and let this run over us, or we could stand up and run with it, and that's what we've tried to do. Our lives were changed tremendously with this diagnosis of Alzheimer's because, number one, Steve, who was the person who provided for us financially and took care of everything around the house, around our property, and even helped every friend and every family member to upkeep their property. All of a sudden, we knew that that was coming to an end. So for us emotionally to grasp with that, it was a shift in how we looked at life and how we would move forward. Fortunately for us, the diagnosis of Alzheimer's hasn't changed our status of love for each other. We've been really, really blessed to have a beautiful, loving relationship. And while our roles or our expectations of each other may change and may have changed, that the same depth of love remains. And I think that that's really sustaining because if you didn't love each other before this, it'd be really hard to love each other afterwards, you know. Even though his short-term memory is really challenging, he can't forget those three wonderful gems of our lives. What makes you the happiest in the world?
Our kids.
Our grandchildren, yeah. You know their names? Do you remember their names?
Sure. It's Nathan.
Nathan.
And
what's his brother's name?
It's
Caleb. And what about that beautiful little girl? What's her name? Like Romeo and Juliet.
That's good.
Sometimes what I like to say to other caregivers, and whether it be in support groups or different events we've attended and we sit and talk, is what I've discovered is, number one, love remains. Number two, there's hope in the future, but we need to enjoy the beauty in the moment. And number three, when you get up in the morning, your mood can dictate the day. You know, if you are not going to be patient, then chances are the person with Alzheimer's day is going to be more challenging. If you can dig deep and try to remain patient, chances are the day is going to be better for the both of you. My biggest fear is that I won't be able to do it in the way that Steve deserves it done. I want to be able to take care of him lovingly until he takes his last breath.